everybody, my name's Amanda from Scrimpingmommy.co.uk and today I'm going to make a really quick and cute little box and it's going to hold a sweet treat. Perfect for a teacher gift or any other kind of thank you gift, and the idea can be changed up and you just up the sizes or down the sizes to fit your own needs. I will leave all of my measurements as always over on my blog at scrimpingmommy.co.uk. So without further ado, first of all you need one piece of cardstock which measures 6.5 inches by 6 inches, and here I'm using lemon lime twist, and 2 pieces of DSP for matting over the top or layering, and these measure 4 3/8 of an inch by 2 1/8 of an inch, so you're just getting a tiny increment to see the cardstock on the front and the back. Okay, so let's just move those out of the way. So for scoring to make the box, so on the short side, we'll turn it to the short side first. That's the side that measures 6 inches. We want to score first of all at 1/2 inch. Okay. Ooh, I've gone off target there. I always do. Whenever I do it on camera, I always slip. Monster. Right. 1/2 inch, 2 3/4 of an inch, which is there, 3 1/4 and 5 1/2. As I say, all of this will also be on my blog, so don't worry if you don't remember. And then we're turning on the long side, which is the 6.5 inches side, and we're scoring again at 1/2 inch without slipping. Yay! 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 5 1/2 and 6, 5 1/2 and 6. Okay, so that's all the scoring we need to do. So we're going to fold and burnish all of those score lines nice and crisply. I'll just move that out of the way and give those a nice crease. I am using this to store some chocolate in for a teacher gift, but you can put all sorts of things in. Mini notebooks, soap, I don't know, anything you want. Just, you know, take the basic idea and then change the sizing if needs be. What I do is I get my whatever I want to make a box for. Now I know what I'm doing, and I put it on my grid paper and I draw around it, and then I work out, you know, the depth of it, and that's how I formulate my boxes now. I don't have to copy off anybody anymore. I used to just copy them, now I can make my own. Right, so we've got all of those. That's all nicely burnished. Right, so we're going to be cutting some parts away. So the first thing we need to do is, on these 2 little squares here, cut down to the second score line. Okay, on both of them. And on that one as well. Okay. And then the rest of this here we don't need, so we're going to cut that away. Okay. And these little squares here, we only need 1 square for the tab, so where we've got 2, we're going to cut 1 away. Put that away. I think I've picked up the bluntest scissors that I own. I think somebody's been trying to chop down like trees with these scissors or something. Let me get a different pair. They're awful. My husband's bad for pinching my scissors. I think the worst thing he ever did, the worst crime, was using one of my very expensive carving knives to, you know, chop the bottom off the Christmas tree so it would fit in the holder. He did, that's a true story. Okay, so, where am I now? I'm getting all confused. Okay, so, that's this bit done. Okay, we need a flap here and a flap here. So we're going to, at the opposite end of here, we're going to cut down to the second score line. Again. again. Okay, and then we only want the one square for the flap, so we'll cut the second off, and we'll cut that off there. And we actually don't need any of this here, so I'm going to cut all of that away. Okay, I'll just cut that straight because that's wonky. Okay, now on this part here, we don't need these here, these two squares here, so we'll get rid of those. We don't need them. Okay. Let me just cut that a bit straighter. Oh, I can't cut straight to save my life. Okay. So this is the shape that we've got. Okay. If you want to have a quick look, so you know what you're doing. Okay. Now we want to put a little tab mark in there. I might do that after I've layered my DSPs. I'm going to layer my DSPs first. Where are they? Are those them? No, those aren't them. Oh, they're here. I'm picking up the wrong pieces then. Dear me. Right. Do I want to ink those? I think I do. I think I'm just going to gently ink the edges of those just to make it a bit nicer. And I'm using, ooh, I don't want that. I'm using the lemon lime ink, which is the same as the card. And the paper that I've used, sorry I didn't tell you, is from the Colour Theory stack. And I'm using this, and it looks like crackled paint. So it looks like pale green crackled paint. And I'm just going to gently ink the edges on that. All the way around. I'm trying to not do pink and completely girly. I don't really do projects for males. I'll have to make an effort to. So that's why I've chosen green today. Because I am aware that when you look through my videos, there's a lot of pink. I do prefer girly colours. I can't help it. And subtle colours as well. I do prefer. So I've made a conscious effort today to use some green. Okay, let's layer that up now. So I'm going to use Tombow so that I've got some wiggle room, because I've only done 1/8 of an increment on this. On my cards I do 1/4 of an inch, but on this I've only done 1/8 of an inch, so it's a very small tiny increment, so I need it to be straight really. Okay, otherwise it'll look rubbish. Right, so that's nice and straight on there. Let me just up a bit. There we go. And I'll do the other one. Some nice Tombow, and then I'll show you what I'm going to put in it. I am going to make it still quite girly because I'm going to add ribbon, and I'm going to add a butterfly. So it is still girly, but you know, not all girlies and ladies like pink. I can't think why, but there you go. I'm only joking. Right, so let me get it the right way around again. Don't think it really matters. So if that's going to fit, I want a little. So just here on this space here, or you could do it there, it doesn't matter which way around you build it. From here on in, I'm just going to put a little tiny thumb notch just to help get the contents out. So I'm just lining it up and I'm making it very small because these flaps are very small, and the reason I've made it small is so that we're not using loads of card. Okay, and now I'm going to start, and I'm going to put my box together. So what I need to do first of all is, and I will use my Stampin' Up scissors, I need to notch these flaps. So I'm just going to notch them. There ain't none there. Oh dear. I'm still not very good at cutting terribly straight, but never mind. If you don't notch them, it just doesn't go together as well. I don't know, I'm not an engineer. Just trust me, it works. Okay. Notch. Notch, and then just gently notch these flaps, although you can round them, but it means me getting my envelope punch board since naughty Stampin' Up took our corner rounder off us. How naughty. I hope they do bring another one out soon. So I'm just going to take just a sliver of a notch, okay? Just a sliver of a notch. Now I'm going to, I'll just leave that there, put the lid on my glue. I'm going to put it together with tear tape. And I need to put my tape on this thin part here. And then the box, it should just fold over and attach like so. And you can store them folded flat if you want. Yep, that measurement's all work. That's good, I'm happy with that. I'll just use my paper piercer. Take that off of there. Oh, I can hear some birdies tweeting in my garden. How lovely. Wish they'd be quiet, I'm trying to film. Right, I'm only kidding. So that's that done. And then I can now fold my tabs and close my box like so. And I'll show you what I'm putting in it. I'm going to put in some choco. I don't know. But they're from Aldi. And you get like a pack of 4 or 5 for £1.25. Something like that. So it's a very, very, very cheap, inexpensive gift, especially for teachers. I mean, you can't go wrong. You know, what does that work out at each if you're getting 4 or 5 in a pack? It's next to nothing, isn't it? So that just slides in nicely. So this box was made specifically to fit that in. So I can make a few of those. And then that will tuck in nicely. You've got your little thumb notch. You could leave it just like that. But obviously, you know, I never leave things alone, me. I can't help myself. So what I've done is I have got one of these beautiful butterflies, which comes from the butterfly thinlets. I nearly forgot then. Butterfly thinlets. I'm just going to add a little bit of ink just around the edges. And I'm only doing it a little bit sort of at the tips and at the bottom. It's been cut out of Whisper White. It is pre-cut. So, and then at the edges, a bit darker at the edges, and then I'm going to take some more of that ink off by just smushing it on my mat, and then go in again, and it should be a lighter colour. I'm just going to daub it, just daub it, and then I'm going to leave the centre kind of white. So it does look like a bit of an ombre effect. Okay. So that's my butterfly done. Leave that there. Now I'm going to do a sentiment. But first of all, I'm going to tie some ribbon around my box. Now this ribbon here is Lemon Lime Twist. But I actually have the white one. And this is the sheer 1/8 of an inch ribbon. And I've coloured it, because I only have the white one and I wanted green. So I used my Stampin' Right marker in, you know, Lemon Lime Twist, and I coloured it in. Because I'm a cheapskate and I don't have all the ribbons. Right, so let me figure out how I want this now. I think I'm going to go around twice, just because I've got plenty. And it's a nice, thin, pretty ribbon. I'm just going to go around twice, I think. And cross it over maybe. Let me see. If I lift that ribbon over there like so, and that ribbon over there like so, I quite like it to just have an appearance of being crossed over slightly. Okay, so I'm just adjusting that to suit myself. Yeah, I like it there like that. Tighten another knot so that it stays still. There we go. Just adjust it because I want a crisscross look. Oh, come on, you monkey, don't be naughty. There we go. Try and get it so it's not twisted. Oh, mine's twisted. Never mind. You know what I mean, don't you? Now I'm going to try and tie a bow with these silly nails that I've let grow far too long. but I'm going on my holidays soon, so I want them pretty. Okay. Come on, lie flat. Right. It won't lie flat, so let me show you a tip. A tip. We're going to get a glue dot. And we're just going to roll it in our fingers slightly. And we're going to put it where we want our ribbon to stay put. And then just hold it down. And it will just help our ribbon stay where we want it. Well, it should do. Come on, don't be naughty on camera. I'll leave it like that. And I'm just going to cut the tails like so. I've done an absolute garbage ribbon there. I am sorry. It's rubbish, is that ribbon? I've tied a rubbish bow. Hold on a minute. I'm not having that. I'm not having that rubbish bow. Stay still. There we go. Right. I'm going to attach my butterfly with some glue dots. Ribbons and bows are the bane of my life. I think all Stampin' Up demonstrators struggle tying bows live on air or on your videos. Right, I'm just attaching that butterfly there now, which is rather pretty. I'm liking that. And I think I'm going to just have some of these. These are the glitter enamel dots. I'm just going to have 2 on my butterfly there, like so. And now I want to stamp a sentiment. Now I've got over the stress of trying to tie that ribbon in a bow. And I'm going to use, I'm not using that, it's bent. I'm going to use Thoughtful Banners, which is a brilliant stamp set. It's been carried over. It's not one of the new ones, so hopefully some of you will already have it. And you can obviously get punches to match. You can get the banner punch, which I have got, and you can also use the this one, whose name I always forget. That one. Can't remember what it's called still. And I looked it up before the start of my video as well, but I didn't write it down. Not to worry. I'm going to just have thank you, I think. And then I'll punch it out with my label punch. And if it's a tad long, which I have a feeling it might be, I'm just going to trim it down. It doesn't matter. So, which way up does that go? That way? So I'm lining it on my grid paper, because if I can get it straight to start with, it just makes my life a little bit easier. Back in with the same lemon lime twist. Stamp it there. I'm going to stamp it over here actually, because I think I haven't left myself enough room for my punch, which is a bit of a silly trick. Go in with my punch, centralise that, about there, yeah, like so. And I think I'll have one out of this lemon lime scrap. Just give that a gentle ink all the way around, just to kind of outline it. Okay. And then I'm just going to very gently add glue, just a thin layer of glue on the bottom edge, like so. So I can layer that up, like so. And just give that a second to dry. Oh, it's not straight. Let me get it straight. This is why I like Tombow, because you've got time to adjust. There we go. And then I'm going to put it up on some dimensionals. And then we're done. We're good to go. I don't have the mini ones, which I really need to get, because Stampin' Up have started doing mini dimensionals for smaller projects, which would have probably been helpful in my instance, but one there and one there. Okay, stuck to my mat now. Let's get these off and that one off. Tell you what, these teachers are half getting spoiled because I've made loads of teacher gifts. I'm just going to have that there like so, just on a pop dot like that. Okay, and I think that's really pretty. You know, nice and summery colour. Let me just zoom in a bit. Oh, that's out. I should know by now, it's my camera. Nice and summery, even though the bow's not fantastic. I think that's a really cute gift. I might add some Winkasella to the wings. We'll see. But there you go, give it a try. And nice cheap gift. Easy to do. Thanks for watching.